Hi everyone, this is Scott with KastKing. We got another great new product for you. This is the KastKing V10LS. It's a line spooling station rod rack that can be used for storing your combos. It can be used for spooling spinning reels, for spooling casting reels, and you can store other accessories on it as well. Lots of cool features, so let me take you through all the details. You notice I got the rod rack loaded up with spinning combos, casting combos, and even a large catfish combo with a recon reel on it. So you can store nearly any size combo on this rod rack, and you have plenty of room to get it on and off. You can see in the bottom we've got these cups that we mount opposite directions, and what that does is changes the height of the reel relative to the combo right next to it. So it's easy to take off a combo without interfering with the other rods and put it back on again. Makes it very easy and convenient to use. You can see on the lower rod rack, we also have a built-in shelf. So you can use this to store pliers, fishing line, maybe some baits or other small tools. Just gives you another place to store some of your smaller accessories and or baits. The upper rod rack has these retainers built into it. So there's a foam insert with a slot in it, so it's very easy to pull out a rod and push it back in. And this is going to capture the top of the rod, so it's going to keep your combo from falling off the rod rack. And this is a line spooling fixture that we mount on the rod rack for spooling up spinning reels without any line twist. And then behind it you can see we've got a metal shaft that you can use to store several different spools of line. And it's also used for spooling up casting or spinning reels. And it's very easy to get out. You just simply push the rod all the way to the left, then lift up the right hand side. Then you can pull the shaft out to put a new spool on. Then to put it back down, you put the left side in first into the slot, push it back, and then drop the right side down and pull it to the right, and that'll lock it in place so your spools aren't going to go anywhere. This is the KastKing Line Boss. It's an elastic band, has a pull tab on one end, a sliding collar, and then it has a stainless steel eyelet built into it. And the way you use this is you run the line through the eyelet, slip the band over the spool, and then you slide the collar down to apply tension to the spool. So this is what we use for spooling spinning reels and casting reels to apply tension. And it also works great if you're just storing spools of line. It'll prevent the line from uncoiling off your spool. If you're going to spool up a casting reel, the first thing you need to do is remove the T-handle from the spooling fixture and just set it aside for now. Then you want to apply the line boss to your spool of line that you're going to apply to your reel. So you run the line through the stainless steel eyelet in the band, slip the band over your spool, then tighten down with a sliding collar to apply tension to the line itself. Then you want to take the shaft off of the upper rod rack, run it through your spool, and at this point you want to make sure the line is coming off the top of the spool so it goes onto your reel in the correct orientation. Then you put the shaft back into the upper rod rack, put the left end in first, drop it down and slide it back to the right, and that locks it in place so it's not going to come off when you're spooling up your reel. Then you run your line through the eyelet in the spooling fixture, and then you run it through at least your first line guide in your rod, back to your reel, tie off to your reel, and then you can start cranking your reel and filling up your casting reel with fishing line. If you're going to spool up a spinning reel, the first thing you need to do is put the line boss tension band on the spool of line you're going to use. So you run the line through the stainless steel eyelet in the band, then slip the band around the spool, and then tighten down with the collar to get the tension that you need to start spooling. Next, we want to remove one of the retainers in the upper rod rack and put the line spooling fixture in its place. So to do that, push on the left side of the retainer and it rotates clockwise, and you just lift it out and you can set it aside for now. Then you can take this fixture out, pull the T-handle out and set it aside for a moment. And then you want to mount this right where you remove that retainer. So there's a series of tabs in the rod rack and in the fixture. So you want to line them up, slide it through the first series of tabs, and then it will rest on the bottom tabs, and then you rotate it counterclockwise to lock it in place. So you just push it down, then move it to the right, and it locks in place. Then we're going to take the T-handle, run it through the center of the spool. Now at this point you want to make sure the line is coming off the left side of the spool. So if I were to pull on the line straight up, the spool would spin clockwise direction. And you'll notice that there's a flat spot on the threaded shaft, and this lines with a key in the spooling fixture, so you can quickly put the spool on, and then you just turn the shaft 3/4 of a turn, and it locks in place so the spool's not going to come off. And you want to make sure that the spool spins freely. Don't tighten it all the way down so it won't move. It needs to spin freely. Then you take the line boss to adjust the tension. So you pull on the tab of the line boss, slide the collar down, and you can tighten down on the tension to make sure you got enough tension on your line when you're spooling up your reel. Then you take your line, run it through the line guide on the spooling fixture, then back through the stripper guide of your rod, then back to your reel, tie it off, and then you can start spooling up your spinning reel with fishing line. Now one other thing that we've done is we added some cues onto the line spooling fixture, so it'll show you which side of the spool the line needs to come off of and which direction the spool should be spinning to make sure you don't have any line twist. The KastKing V10LS line spooling station rod rack. You can store up to 10 combos in only 18 inches of wall space. You can also store fishing line. We have a shelf down below where you can store other accessories, tools, or fishing line. You can spool up casting reels. You can spool up spinning reels. This is a very efficient way to manage all your tackle. If you have a lot of tackle, you need to go check out the V10LS.